All right, guys, let's give this a shot. Welcome to remote learning. We're going to start with chapter 18, which is the digestive system. Bear with me because this is super uncomfortable for me. I just don't want to hear it, right? Anyway, chapter 18, digestive system. We're going to cover just section 1 in this video. Feel free to pause the video at any time so that you can keep up with the notes. You definitely should still be taking notes. You should be following along the textbook. Chapter 18 actually starts on page 562. So follow along there and get everything written down. Try to treat it as normal of a lecture as possible. Okay, here we go. All right, so our first list is about 6 nutrients necessary for human health. If you look through section 1, you'll see that it's mostly about health and nutrition and what we should eat, and it'll continue into section 2 a little bit as well. First thing, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are good. The complex ones are better for us than the simple ones. I'll explain that in a little bit. Fats, same thing. There are good fats that we should have in our diet. The unsaturated ones tend to be more healthy than the saturated fats. Proteins. We talked about proteins back when we were doing cells. And if you remember, we talked about those 20 amino acids that are kind of the alphabet of the proteins that make up those proteins. Vitamins and minerals, and water. So if you turn to page 567 and 568, and you look at figures 5 and 6, you can see an extensive list of a lot of vitamins and minerals that we should be eating in our diet. We can take supplemental vitamins, but our body can't utilize those as well. It's harder for them to break those. It's harder for our body to break those down. The best way to get these vitamins and minerals is within our diet. Those lists in the book will tell us why we need those things and also show the foods that we can find the specific vitamins and minerals in. For instance, calcium, dairy food, okay? But you'll notice a lot of repeat on green leafy vegetables. So those of you that don't like your vegetables, you don't like your salads, or you only like iceberg lettuce, you might be lacking some vitamins, okay? And then this is, hold on, let me get my pen working. Here we go. Hi, Olivia. This is for you. All right, moving on. Water was the last thing on our list. Why is it so important? Again, back when we talked about cells, we talked about the fact that water is necessary for all the chemical reactions that are taking place in those cells. The cells are filled with water. Water is also a large component of our blood. We'll learn about that when we do the circulatory system. The circulatory system is kind of this highway system that carries things through our body. And if that blood isn't watery enough, that stuff can't get transported and it causes a big problem. Water also helps us to regulate our body temperature. So we sweat when we get too hot, but it also kind of acts like a radiator. As our blood is cycling through our body, it disperses that heat, okay? And just a fun fact, almost 2/3 of our body is water, a lot of it. Some people more than others. All right, like I said, you can pause the video at any time if you need some extra time to get this vocab down. This is just kind of some random vocab. But I want to break down this concept of these simple carbs versus the complex carbs, okay? So carbohydrate is this chain of carbon molecules. There's other stuff, but this is just a simplified version. The longer the chain, the more complex the carbohydrate. And the more complex, the longer it takes for your body to digest it. And so you can eat complex carbs like whole grain, bread, seeds and things like that. And it takes longer to digest, so it fills you up more. If you're eating only simple carbs, it's really short, these little short chains. Those are the sugars. White bread, already processed carbs, they don't have much nutritional value. Your body digests them very quickly and you feel hungry quickly. So these no-carb diets should be more relabeled as good carb diets. You do need some carbs in your diet, okay? Cholesterol, something found in animal products. It's not something that you should avoid 100%, but you shouldn't have too much of it. And then saturated versus unsaturated fats. These saturated fats are more unhealthy than the unsaturated. Unsaturated are less unhealthy. The saturated fats are usually solid, and those are our animal fats, okay? The fats found in butter, the fat actually found in meat, those are usually solid at room temperature. And then our unsaturated fats are usually liquid at at room temperature. Okay, and those are a lot of our oils. Avocados contain some healthy fats. Certain nuts contain some healthy fats. So again, it's not all bad. All right, so I have a little experiment for you guys to do at home. I want you to find some saltine crackers, and I want you to wipe off as much of the salt as you can. Okay, it does need to be a saltine because a saltine cracker is full of starch. Okay, my screen here. Let me see if I can move this. There we go. Move me over to the side. There. I think I'm good. I don't know. Let's hope. These saltines are filled with starch, which is a complex carb. You're going to put it in your mouth, and you're going to chew, and you're going to chew, and you're going to chew, and you're going to chew. And your saliva actually contains an enzyme that's going to start breaking that complex carb, that long chain, into a shorter chain. Well, as the long chain gets shorter, it's becoming different types of sugars. And so it'll actually start to taste a little bit sweet in your mouth. It's not going to turn into a sugar cookie. You can't make a saltine into a dessert. But keep chewing it well past the time where it feels like you can swallow it, and it'll start tasting slightly sweet. And then another fun fact, that enzyme that's breaking down that cracker in your mouth is called amylase. Amylase. It's named after me. Yeah, I wish. Not really. All right. I believe that's it. Good luck, and I'll see you soon for section 2.